Hello my beautiful buds. Welcome back to my channel, Sprouts with Joy. My name is Joy, and if you like to talk about plants, you're in the right place. Spring is upon us, and that means that the plant shopping game should be back online, I guess. A garden center in the area called Pandy's. I've been kind of stalking their Facebook page. It looks like they have a lot of cool plants in stock right now. So I want to check that out, but I kind of have to hurry because they're closing soon. So I'm hoping I can get there in time. But if I can't, I reserve the right to pivot and go to Walmart or something and turn this into a big box store shopping video. But as it stands, I'm going to try to go to Pandy's and see what they have. But hopefully the traffic isn't too bad. Hopefully I can get there. So let's not waste any more time. Okay, I'm here. It's 4:10. The place closes at 5, so I should have enough time to get a good look at the plants. But I just got hit so hard with filming in public anxiety. So I'm going to do my best, guys, but I'm really feeling the nerves right now. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. And of course it's going to be a voiceover because you guys know me. So right off the bat, they have the royal family, and so they had philodendron white knight for $50 for a 5-inch pot. I've always loved just those white streaks from the petioles. And they also had pink princesses, of course, for $25. And they also had these philodendron white wizards for, I think, $80, which was definitely more expensive than the other two, but the leaves and the variegation are honestly really cool. And then, okay, I've always loved their air plant displays here. They have, what is it, choyo or something like that. They also have just all these really fun mounted air plants, which is inspiring to me because I'm always trying to figure out how I want to display my air plants. And then here is a really cool looking one that I liked in particular. It looked like the Bootsy Eye or something like that, I guess. It was $8, but it had this cool pattern to it. This is just Tradescantia chrysophylla, or baby bunny bellies, which is super cute. I have this plant, I got it from this place. Here they just had a sea of Ripsalis, and they didn't have a specific species name, but they were under $5 and really, really adorable. I'm not familiar enough with Ripsalis to know exactly what this is right off the bat, so if you know, let me know. I was very tempted. And then moving on, they had more jungle cactus. So there's this orchid cactus here for $15. Absolutely beautiful. It's just so elegant. And they also had this interesting looking one. It was like the pencil fire stick cactus or something. I had never heard of it, but it was really cool looking. And of course, my favorite to the right there is rickrack cactus, or they had labeled it as zigzag cactus here for $15 as well. I have this plant and I adore it. They had a really good selection of alocasia, and I'm not the most well-versed in alocasia ever, so there's some that I hadn't heard of, but the first one that caught my eye was the silver dragon, which of course I have heard of, and this one was just $12.99, which I thought was a really good deal. I feel like the price on these has gone down in recent years. And then this right here was an alocasia dragon's breath, which I hadn't heard of personally, but that was also $12.99, and it had a really cool shape to the leaf, and it wasn't quite as silvery as the silver dragon, but still really cool. And one of my favorites, Alocasia cuprea, and these ones were also $12.99. They have such a cool look. I love the coloration of these leaves. There's also Alocasia reversa, which was interesting. I don't really know that much about it, but it's cool. This was Alocasia Purple Cloak, and I regret not looking closer at it, but I got distracted by the Geodonanthus. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but it's Popii or something. I don't know. But the pattern on this was so eye-catching. But when I think back on the Alocasia Purple Cloak in retrospect, the shape of the leaves were super unique. Over here they had another white wizard that was smaller for $25, and then my eye caught a philodendron white princess that was the same size that was also $25, which honestly I think is such an excellent price. These Alocasia dragon scales were so beautiful and healthy, and pretty much all of them had like new growth happening. So I took some time admiring those. It's kind of hard to see the magnitude of what you're looking at through the camera because I'm so far away, but this is an 86-year-old jade plant that they have just kind of growing in the back area, which I got to see this because one of the employees there recognized me from the Great Big Home and Garden Show, and he's actually the grandson of the people that founded this garden center, and so he was really excited and was showing me some of the stuff they had in the back. He also showed me their Thai constellations, which were in 6-inch pots for only $170, which is insane. That's so affordable compared to what they used to be. Obviously still expensive, but gosh, and they're just so beautiful. Here they had some Baltic blues. And of course some golden pothos. And all along the border of this section they had these really beautiful and vibrant lemon lime philodendron that were trailing and so pretty. I love this string of dolphins that they had for just like $8. I've never actually tried it before, but I've considered it. And then of course they had a variegated string of hearts. I think this was like a 4-inch pot for $25, or no, for like $30 more like. But they're so beautiful. They also had a string of hearts Silver Glory, which I got mine from this place as well, but it was like a bigger basket. But these ones specifically were like $11. They had these really beautiful Burrow's Tail succulents. The big one was $20 and the rest of them were $15. Whalefin Sansevieria for $40. They also had this forest of carnivorous plants that were so beautiful with Venus flytraps and various kinds of pitcher plants. And they also had nepenthes that were hanging up, and I'm not super well versed in carnivorous plants and I don't have any yet, but I've definitely considered getting one from this place because they have a really nice selection and they're pretty affordable too. Oh my goodness.
If you pick them up on your shoulder, he'll literally walk around like the whole store.
That's amazing.
Always recommend 2 layers of clothing though.
Oh yeah, I've got cats that have sharp claws, so I know what that's like. So sweet. This adorable string of turtles is only $6, and I have been tempted by these more than once. At this table was just this really fun assortment of tiny ferns and just little plants. I don't know the species of all of them at all, but they're super cute, and I could see any of these going really, really well in a terrarium. So if I ever get around to setting up that terrarium that I've been talking about for a while, I will definitely come here and grab a few of these little plants. They're all for under like $5. Here was just a variegated lipstick plant. This was just a stunningly ornate plant that is a streptocarpus. I've heard of them. I think they're pretty closely related to African violets, which there were also a lot of African violets in this section. They're not really my thing personally, but if they're your thing and your specialty, all the more power to you. I think they're beautiful, but I feel like they just don't really go in my collection very well. I know I've already talked about these in another video. These are just giant 8-inch pots of Alocasia cuprea for just $30, which is insane. And they also had other alocasias that were this size and so beautiful. But of course, I am mostly obsessed with the cuprea. Here was a 5-inch Xanthosoma lindenii for $30. I've been seeing these guys popping up a lot recently. I always love a good marble queen pothos. My cats just knocked mine down, so I'm kind of in the market for a new one. This was an interesting one I'd never seen before. It was the Tradescantia navicularis. So it was a Tradescantia, but the leaves were much more succulent-like and very tough. So that was a really cool plant. They had more of that mystery plant that I got from them like a month and a half ago at this point. Again, labeled as Syngonium window leaf. It doesn't really look like a Syngonium to me personally, but I mean, I don't know, it's really cool. I'd love to know more about it. They also had a decent selection of Aglaonema. I am far from being an Aglaonema expert. I only have one. I could be in the market for another one potentially. I don't think I want any of these ones though. But I do really like this one with the white margin. They had these labeled as Alocasia green velvet. They're also 8-inch pots. It definitely looks like Alocasia micholitziana to me though, personally. Although, I mean, I'm not an expert again, but they're so beautiful. These I'd never seen before, but I looked them up and it's a Fascidera variegata, apparently. So it's just some sort of a shrub. And the leaves are really cool, I think. These alocasias were absolutely massive. I actually saw a guy walking out with one of them on my way in. And also these were Homolamina camouflage, and the leaves are obviously super unique. I've seen them around here and there recently, and I don't know, there's definitely a few houseplants that have leaves like this. I know there's an Aglaonema, I think Pictum tricolor, that kind of has leaves like that too, but I guess that would be a good dupe. And these are Rhaphidophora hayi, which those are always nice to see. Gotta love a shingling plant. And then Philodendron Imperial Reds, I believe, which were only like $15, which I think is a really good price for a plant that size. And these were some Philodendron Xanadus, which I think they're actually technically in the Thaumatophyllum genus, but they're often labeled as philodendrons because they're super similar. These Rhaphidophora tetraspermas were $30 in cages like this, which I thought was pretty unique. And oh my goodness, these Philodendron silver swords were so happy. Like, look at, they each had like an inflorescence and they're mature and beautiful. I was honestly halfway tempted to bring one home. If you have a corner and you want to plant there that will probably get neglected and still do fine, one of these snake plants would do great for that. This was a really handsome looking monstera for $25. These staghorn ferns were so massive and gorgeous, also for $25. They also had some smaller ones that were cheaper. I think I got mine here for like $8, which honestly, yeah, those are super good prices in my opinion for a plant that is so mature. I think these button ferns are honestly the cutest thing ever. I'm always really attracted to them, but I don't want to take one home because I don't want to have too many ferns in my collection just because I know they're kind of needy. They also had these baby philodendron jungle boogies for $10. They were pretty cute. I know they're also known as a philodendron narrow, I think. And then they also had philodendron black cardinal. It was also 4-inch pot, but they were significantly larger plants for $15. Good old philodendron fuzzy petiole. That's a good one. It's fun. It's a little bit troublesome, but fun. And these were only like $8. This was interesting. Philodendron Ceylon Beauty. I'd never really heard of that before. I don't know if it's different from like the lemon lime philodendron that's upright or if it's just a different name for it. And then over here, I thought they were more Xanadu's, but it was called an Enzy philodendron, which I had never heard of before. So I'll have to look that up, but they look kind of cool. More silver swords, and then these little painted ladies were so precious. It was $25, which was a little bit steep, I think, but the variegation was really high. And then these were also black cardinals, but they were labeled as caramel or caramel, which was interesting. Oh, and then, yeah, this cat came, he just jumped up and wanted to visit me, so I got a little bit distracted for a minute here. He was so cute, oh my gosh. And yeah, Monstera Peru for $20. We had some Ficus elastica of all different varieties over here. Really beautiful. The burgundy one, the Taneki, and I think the ruby as well. Some jade succulents or Crassula ovata. I definitely had a lot of these pretty early on in my collection, but I don't think I have any anymore. There's more philodendron here. This was philodendron Moonlight for $10. Really, I think an understated and underrated plant in my opinion. And then over here they had philodendron Mia, which these have grown so much since I bought mine here. Honestly, it's crazy. I got mine here like a year and a half ago. And these are philodendron Prince of Orange, which I've never really been a big fan of, but these guys were just 4-inch pots for $10. They had Rhaphidophora decursiva for $20, and these guys were absolutely busting out of this 4-inch pot. They're so beautiful. I've always thought about getting one, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I don't know. Over here they had a mangave, which I thought was really cool. I'm assuming it's a variety of agave, or I think actually it might be a hybrid, but I don't know a whole lot about these guys, but I thought they were really cool. They had Syndapsis pictus exotica for just $9. Guys, I would have been like foaming at the mouth for these like a year ago. This is Alocasia Ninja, which looks super duper similar to the Alocasia Black Velvet, but I don't know, there are some very subtle differences, I think, in the leaf shape and in kind of the shade of black, if that makes any sense. Ooh, and these are Sansevieria Moonshine, which as far as Sansevieria or snake plants go, I love these guys. They're so pretty, and this was only like $9, so good deal, good deal. Oh, and I'm realizing that I missed these earlier. These are also tiny little white knights. They were over by the small white wizards and white princesses. But they're so cute and also only $25, and I was actually really tempted to get this one, but I don't know if I should go for another philodendron arabescens variety or just leave it what I've got. And those neon pothos though, those are really nice and long, and at this point I'm like freaking out because I only have like 10 minutes before the store closes, but I'm seeing all these really cool plants like this philodendron mayuai, which I was not expecting to see here whatsoever, but it looked super cute and it was only $25, and I was like, bro, what? This is so beautiful. They also had Alocasia Stingray over here for $20, which I was honestly really impressed by because I know for a while I feel like these were hard to find, and they've never really been my cup of tea, but I know people like them. And over here was Philodendron Red Sun, which I'd never heard of, but they kind of just reminded me of a Prince of Orange, kind of, but maybe just more red than orange. They also had Alocasia Red Scalprum for $20, and man, the texture on those leaves is really cool. It's a neat leaf shape as well. Now these guys were interesting because they looked like a mame, a philodendron mame for $20, but I don't know for sure. I don't know. They had like super ruffly petioles, and my philodendron mame is more mature than that, and it only just has very slight ruffly petioles. So I don't know if this is a different cultivar or what, but I mean, I was honestly really impressed that they had them. These little pixie syngonium were so cute. Just look at those little leaves. And I was not expecting to find this, but this was labeled as Syngonium batik for $20. And I don't know, man. I mean, the leaves look smaller than I would have expected them to be, but I was super shocked to see them. Here we have Alocasia Mellow, which they're a jewel alocasia, like the black velvet, I believe. And honestly, the texture on these guys is so cool. And they're also $20 for these 5-inch pots. I was also very tempted by these. But yeah, honestly, they seem fake. Like, they feel fake. It's bizarre. And oh my goodness, I spotted the beauty. This is what I came here for. It is a Maranta silver band. Oh my word. I was so excited to see these. I had seen a Facebook post about them and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to go check them out. So they're $17, which is such a good price, all things considered. I mean, I remember these guys going for so much more, and I'm glad that I waited because now I'm getting them for a really good price. I was just checking for like spider mites or anything like that because I know these guys are prone to it. And they also had Maranta Crotoviana and the lemon lime Maranta as well. All very beautiful, all $17, I think. And okay, I had to run out, but I wanted to point out these beautiful little angel wing begonias. They're so beautiful. Oh my goodness. And then they had a different variety back here that was flowering and had a slightly different leaf shape. And they just made me so happy. Just look at those cute little blooms. Oh my goodness. I was also very tempted by these because I thought they were the cutest things ever.
Well, I just wrapped up my shopping at Pandy's, and you know, it wasn't so bad to film, although I felt very much under pressure because of the time crunch. So I kind of, like, it was like 5 minutes to 5 and I couldn't decide what I wanted to get because there were a lot of really good options. So I kind of may or may not have panic bought 4 plants. I don't know that I need 4 more plants in my collection, like, immediately. I think that they'll all be relatively easy plants to maintain, so I'm not too worried. I was actually recognized by one of the guys that was working there, and he's apparently the grandson of the people that founded the place. It's fun to have a connection, and, you know, maybe next time I come in, I'll be like, Michael, can I film? He seemed pretty chill with it, so that worked out. And he actually showed me like their back area where they grow a bunch of plants and keep some of the rare plants, which was super fun.
About it. Anyways, As I mentioned in the car, I got more plants than I was anticipating. I got 4 plants, largely because I felt pressure and I couldn't decide in the moment, so I just got them all, and you know what? I'll find room. But they're all really beautiful plants, and I'm super excited to show you guys what I got. So the first one right here, okay, they definitely had a lot of really cool alocasias, but I just went for a classic, and it is the Alocasia Dragon Scale for $12.99, and I picked out this one in particular because this new leaf was so beautiful. But I was debating largely between the Alocasia Dragon Scale and the Alocasia Silver Dragon. My cat is nosing my plants. Don't do that, buddy. I know they're new, but they're not for you. Anyway, so I was debating a lot. I knew going in that I kind of wanted an alocasia because I know that they've been getting in a lot of really cool alocasias. But of the alocasias that I have currently, I have the Alocasia Black Velvet, I have the Alocasia Cuprea, and now the Alocasia Dragon Scale. And I feel like that's a pretty nice wide spread in terms of different kinds of alocasia that are out there. It's not perfect, but I didn't necessarily want to pick up an Alocasia Ninja or even an Alocasia Mellow because they give me those black velvet. Hey! I was tempted kind of by the Alocasia Mellow and things like that, but they were so much like my Alocasia Black Velvet that I opted for this gal right here, which also has this new leaf coming in too. So this is a super healthy plant. I'm very excited to see how it grows in my care. And I would have gotten the Silver Dragon, I think, because I do prefer like the more silvery foliage to this one. However, their Silver Dragons were on the smaller side and less established, and for an alocasia, I felt a little bit more nervous to try out a plant that was smaller. So yeah, that's why I went for the Dragon Scale. And I think that she is gorgeous. And the backs of the leaves too have like the red venation, which I think is so, so beautiful. So yeah. Next up, this one was the wild card. It was the most unexpected one to me because I did not think I would pick up this plant. But it's the Philodendron Mayoi bipinnatifidum. I know of Philodendron Mayois. I didn't realize that it was a crawler, and I don't really know like the bipinnatifidum, like, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't realize that Mayois were crawlers because this is very clearly a crawler. Maybe I shouldn't be getting more crawlers in my collection because they take so much space, but this will be my 3rd crawler. And the thing that I couldn't get it out of my head, this newest leaf right here, I was absolutely enraptured with. And so, I don't know, just look, I don't have any philodendron that have like the serrated edges like this. And it's just so, so stunning that I honestly couldn't resist. And it has a new leaf coming in right here too. You can kind of see this big old caterpillar. But it's so beautiful. I'm definitely gonna need to repot this sooner rather than later just because it's already at the edge of the pot. But yeah, this one's a stunner. I was not expecting to pick this one up, but like, look at that. Oh my word. This next purchase I've been planning for kind of a while now. It's a Sansevieria Moonshine for $8.99. And I've known that Pandy's like had these in stock for a long time for a good price. I just have kind of been sitting on it, but I would like to add another Sansevieria / Dracaena snake plant, whatever, to my collection. And I love the Moonshine just because the silvery foliage is just, I mean, it's to die for. I love silvery foliage. And this one in particular has like a little baby on the way too, which is super fun. It sounds like my son has woken up. My husband's with the kids right now, but I might need to intervene because he sounds upset. But yes, I have a very specific place in mind for this, and I'm very excited to put it in its new little home. I've definitely been appreciating Sansevieria a lot more recently. For the longest time, I just wasn't interested in them. But honestly, I feel like I just needed to find the ones that fit my vibe, you know? Okay, and then last but not least, this one was actually on my wish list, and it has been for a few years now, and it's the Maranta
They labeled this as silver streak, but I always called it the silver band. And it was only $17, you guys. Only $17. And of course there are like lots of little blooms. I'm probably gonna cut them off, but I do think that they're pretty cute. And there's some new leaves coming in. And oh my gosh, I'm just so happy. Look at how large and beautiful these leaves are. Oh, I'm so happy to finally have this in my collection. It's been a really long time. Just kind of waiting for the right time to acquire it. And I am glad that I waited because this has really come down in price. I feel like when I first added it to my wish list, it was at least $40. But now it's $17, which is less than half the price. But yes, admire it. It's so, so beautiful. I'm definitely gonna need to clean off these leaves because they're a little bit dusty, which, I mean, that happens when you're in a garden center. Leaves get kind of dirt and stuff on them just because there's a lot of dirt flying around. But yeah, I feel like once I clean off these leaves, it's just gonna be even more of a stunner. So, yes! Oh my goodness, you guys. It feels good to just go out and about and go plant shopping again. I feel like it's been a little while since I've been in a garden center, so it just felt really good to be surrounded by plants. I'm so happy that spring is underway. In the next couple months here, I'm gonna have to come up with some more plant display solutions in the next few months here because I do feel quite comfortable with the care requirements of my plants. It's just a matter of strategic placement and having the right space, and enough light really is my biggest issue. So I could probably use some more grow lights. I'm thinking about getting a greenhouse cabinet. I also need to add more hooks in random places to like actually hang plants and stuff like that. So my husband just turned on the TV and it's really loud, so I think that's probably my cue to wrap up. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. All those things are super helpful for my channel, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye!